Start. While making any correction in the entries relating to these matters, the requirement of moving the application within 3 years has to be adhered to, as any correction in regard to these entries would have an impact on the rights of other candidates when they seek admission to higher classes or employment. However, the other particulars contained in the certificate, like the name of the candidate or the names of the parents of the candidate, are not that relevant, and any correction made in regard to these particulars would have no impact on the admission or employment of other candidates. When so considered, we feel persuaded to hold that the time limit of 3 years prescribed in the substantive part of Regulation 7 for submission of an application for making correction in the certificate issued by the board in regard to the name of the candidates or the names of the parents of the candidate should not have been insisted upon, particularly when the board itself considered it appropriate or the names of the parents of the candidate to have no time limit under the proviso for making correction in regard to any spelling mistake in the name of the candidate or his parents. The applicant must, however, explain to the board the reasons on the basis of which the application could not be submitted earlier, and if it is found that the claim is bona fide and is otherwise justified, there is no reason to reject the application, as in the present case, apart from the retracted confession of one of the co-accused, there is no supporting or corroborative evidence available for the prosecution. Hence, it is crystal clear that the prosecution has failed to establish a prima facie case. The learned counsel also contended that the material available on record in this case against the first respondent is not even sufficient for framing charges, even though charge framed is not challenged. Commenting on the order of this court in the second of the cases supra, he contended that this court has not given a finding that there is a prima facie case against the respondent accused, nor has it dealt with the question of the evidentiary value of the retracted confession. Hence, the High Court was justified in going into these aspects of the case and coming to the conclusion that the prosecution case does not establish a prima facie case against the respondent accused. He also placed reliance on various judgments which were cited before the High Court in support of his arguments. Learned counsel submitted that existence of prima facie case is a sine non for refusal of bail, and even if such a prima facie case is existing, still it is well open to the accused persons to seek bail on other grounds. But if there is no prima facie case made out from the prosecution material, then the question of looking into the other grounds for grant of bail does not arise, since lack of prima facie case by itself is sufficient to grant bail.